What's up, YouTube fans, and especially the Shadow 2 fans? I am the Average Doomsday Prepping Dude. Thanks for stopping by. Today is the day where I'm going to be putting the most requested item on the list of things to do. It is how to put in the disconnector from the Reassembling kit from Cajun Gun Works. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Also, it's very useful when you make comments on the videos to tell me what you like and don't like about the videos, and possible future videos of what you'd like me to work on. I do these videos for you guys that we can learn how to do it yourself and save yourself some money at the same time and get more knowledge about your firearms. So let's get into this right now, and thanks for stopping by. Alright, so here's all the tools you're going to need. This is a 5/64" punch. Mine has a little nub on the end, that way if you're going into the side of the roll pin for the trigger, it'll actually make it easier so you don't scratch your Shadow 2. Mine has a floating trigger pin, so mine will just kind of pop out, but it's always nice to have the little nub on it. You will need some kind of small flathead jewelry screwdriver, a hammer, needle nose pliers, bench block, and I have my magnetic parts cup holder thing from Harbor Freight, so we don't lose all of our small parts. Alright, finally, let's get into this. Let's safety check the pistol. Pistol is safe. Let's take off the slide. Pop out. Put the slide aside. We do not need the slide. Okay, it's actually much easier to replace the disconnector when you don't have spring tension on the hammer. So we're going to take the grips off and the hammer spring out just to make our lives easier. So let's see. There we go. Let's get all this stuff out. Let's get this pin out. We'll see you get this one out too. This comes out. All this stuff in your magnetic parts cup. Okay, now we have no spring tension on the hammer. So what we want to do now is we want to take the safety out, and then we're going to take the sear cage out, and then the whole hammer assembly. So you got to take your little jewelry screwdriver and get that spring up, lift that up, push it out with your thumb. You'll see the safety come out. Put your thumb over the sear. Sear will now just come out. There's no spring tension. Make sure you don't lose that detent. And there's another detent right there. What you're going to have to do in order to get the hammer assembly out is there's a pin there that retains the hammer pin that pushes out from this side. But in order to get those out, you'll see that the detent now has moved. So let's take that out before we lose that. And then also, let's just make our life easy. Actually, no, we can leave this one in. Now that that's out, let's just push this pin up. That'll come out like that. And then from this side, we want to push that hammer pin out. We're going to actually leave that out. Now, this whole hammer assembly comes out. So you'll see that we're basically wanting to knock out this one pin here. We're only replacing the disconnector, and if you bought, a different hammer and a hammer strut, dropping it would actually be easier because you just reassemble the whole thing and put it in, but I did not do that. I just bought the short reset kit, which only has the disconnector, so we're going to do that. Alright, so now we're going to be taking your hammer assembly apart to get the disconnector out. And we're just going to put it on top of the bench block and put the punch. This is a 5/64" punch right on top of that. Make sure that it's over a hole, otherwise you'll be fighting yourself. You are going to have to whack it a little bit hard. Is it coming out? Yeah, it's coming out. It's moving. Put over this one here. Now, there we go. There we go. It's out. Okay, so that is now out. We could put this one aside. Disconnector we do not need. I believe the Cajun Gun Works one also comes with a pin. Yes, it does, to make our life easy. So one thing to note is that this is the T5 disconnector. I think the short reset kit comes with a T3 disconnector. I wanted to try the T5 disconnector. The installation is the same. So just keep that in mind. I think the T3 needs a little bit fitting, the T5 does not. But it should still improve the reset. So let's get this in. You're going to want to just drop this pin in. I don't think it needs to be hammered in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it in from, it looks like it's fitting from the right side. So I'm going to stick it in like this. Just push it till I feel the hole engage. Nope. Push it till I feel hole engage. Disconnector. Yep. Okay, now it's going in. Now it's going in. Okay, good. So it looks like it was tapered. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to whack it like this. I could probably just whack with the hammer. Yep, there we go. So now it's in. So note, take it out from the right side, or knock it in from the left side out to the right like I was doing, and then put it back in from the right to the left. So now we have our whole hammer assembly ready to go. So basically we just have to reverse what we did before, and let's kind of pull all those pieces out. Let me find them and pull all the pieces that we need. So now I have all the essential parts laid out. I got my hammer assembly here. I got my hammer pin, the pin that retains the hammer pin, the sear, then the detent, and the safety. So let's take the whole hammer assembly. We're going to drop that into the top of the frame, which is nice because it's not under spring tension. You're going to want to make sure that the disconnector goes over the trigger bar like so. And then you're going to eyeball the hole for the hammer pin and drop that in like so. That should go in very easily. Okay, now what you're going to want to do is take your, is it going to stay? It stays. Take your needle nose pliers and get the hammer pin retaining pin, because I have ginormous fingers and I can't do this. You'll see the hole right in the back there that you have to drop this pin into to retain that pin, and I just dropped the pin. Let's try this again. Okay. And is it going in? Okay, going in. All right, now it's in. Okay, let's grab our detent now. The detent is going to go in this position, or sorry, in this position with this little notch up into this little cutout back here. So what we're going to do is, I should be able to do it with my ginormous fingers. Just you get the spring back and then put it in like so. Once you have that, grab your sear cage. Oops, make sure the disconnector is down. It's not under spring tension, so you don't have to put too much pressure on it. Just put the safety in, and it's going to get caught on the spring that we have to lift up with our small jewelry screwdriver, like so. And once we have that in, we have to make sure this is aligned, and everything should just snap into place fairly easily. Why is this? Oh, I gotta push the detent back. There we go. And now everything is locked in secure. The key point was you gotta remember to push the detent back in there, because that's under spring tension, otherwise it won't go in all the way. Okay, so now let's put the hammer spring back in. So now we have the final components we got to put in the hammer spring assembly. So we're going to put the hammer spring in first, then the cap. Once the cap's in, you can use your thumb, put the big one in. Then sometimes you need to tap it with your hammer just to get it in if it doesn't line up. There we go. Then we're going to take our magazine brake, which goes in like this. Line up that hole like so. And then we can put our slide back on. Let's just function test it before we put the grips on. And it is not going in double action. I think I may have to adjust my over travel screw there, but it is resetting in single action mode, and this is an important reason why you always need to function test your stuff. So let me troubleshoot real quick. So it was just a matter of the over travel screw was loose. I haven't blue Loctite it yet, so it wasn't letting me pull the trigger all the way. But this is what the reset looks like. Actually nicer than the stock reset. I should have actually taken a before and after, but that does feel pretty good. So we can go ahead and put the grips back on because we know that functionally it works. And again, these are my Cobra grips that I order from Lock Grips. I'm probably their biggest customer for Cobra grips. They didn't used to have it available to the public. I was always special ordering stuff, and now they have it available to the public. So, in a sense, Cobra fans, you can thank me. I actually had to pay extra to get the setup done the first time. Oh, that feels nice. Okay, so that's... Ooh, that feels really nice. That's how you put in the T5 disconnector or the T3 disconnector in your Shadow 2 short reset kit. All right, so one clarification, this is actually the Shadow 2 reach reduction kit, not the short reset kit. I was thinking of the SIG SRT kit, but this is called the reach reduction kit. It's, I think, $90 for the trigger and the disconnector. And once again, I think it comes with the T3 disconnector, not the T5. The T5 is supposed to be drop-in, which actually I can feel that it is. And the T3, which I put in before, was a little bit tighter. So just so you know, it is a little bit different feel for the reset, but the process of how to put it in is the same. So that's how you put in the disconnector into your Shadow 2 from the reach reduction kit. If you haven't already, please take this time to like and subscribe. I got lots of video content on how to do stuff yourself, as well as USPSA shooting videos. And thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.